Hello and welcome back to the Hype Bulletin, hosted by yours truly, Ralph Mentor. If you guys are watching on the YouTube side, please press on that subscribe button, the like button as well, and drop a comment to help support the podcast. And if you guys are listening on the podcast platform side like Apple, Spotify, and Overcast, please add us to your library for any past, present, and future episodes, and leave us a rating to help support the podcast and all too as well. But we are here today. I guess we're talking NFL and NBA. I've been sprinkling a little CFB, college football, playoff talk, and obviously the Haitian soccer team making the World Cup and all too as well. But I guess that's old news now. We're going to be talking, I guess I'll be reviewing the week 15 of the NFL going into week 16, and all, unfortunately, my New England Patriots took an L to the Buffalo Bills after having a 21-0 lead in the second quarter and all too as well. We'll get into that when we get into the games and all too as well. And we'll sprinkling a little NBA and all too as well. We got the Knicks winning the NBA Cup, first championship for their professional team since 1973 and all, but it ain't a real thing, and they're not raising a banner. Unfortunately, I wanted to see that personally, at least, and all, but excuse me, that won't be happening and all too as well. But let me skip over to the NFL Week 15 games and all. Let me throw it on the screen, have it all seen at least and all too as well. And we'll start. Is that Week 16? Yeah, I want Week 15. There we go. We mentioned the Falcons and Buccaneers game on the last episode and all too as well, so we'll let that be and all. But for the let's go over the 1 o'clock games real quick and all. We have the Ravens smashing the Bengals and all too as well. Looks like Joe Burrow lost his joy all of a sudden. These press conferences that he's dropping and all too as well are kind of sad and all too as well. Just his perspective and his tone, at least and all too as well. But looks like their season is done. I kind of gave him a chance and all too as well. But Ravens took care of them and all too as well. We'll see how real they are facing the Patriots coming soon and all. But let me not ruin what's coming up for Week 16 and all too as well. So yeah, the Ravens trounced the Bengals 24-0. The Eagles took care of the Raiders 31-0 at home and all too as well. Texans, people are calling it a practice game. I would say the Eagles game was much of a practice game too as well for the Jalen Hurts propaganda, at least and all. But Texans smashed the Cardinals at home in a 40-20 game and all too as well, continuing their hot streak going into the playoffs and all, and seeing if they can catch up to the Jaguars for the AFC South and all too as well. The Chiefs are done. It looks like it's over. Unfortunately, Pat Mahomes suffered an ACL injury in that game against the Chargers and all, where the Chargers won 16-13 and all too as well. Obviously didn't watch much of that, honestly too as well, because I'm getting to this 1 o'clock game that the Pats blew and all too as well. But just stay positive for the moment at least and all. Well, not positive for the Chiefs at least and all, but positive for the haters of the Chiefs and their dynasty at least and all. Looks pretty over and all. I don't know if I mentioned how washed Travis Kelce looked in the last episode, but definitely looking washed in my opinion and all. In my opinion, easily lost them 2 games. The game against Philly, where he had the ball off the goal line, bounced off his hands, and then the game against the Texans and all. I think it was big third down and all too as well, out of his hands, drop ball and all too as well. So they look pretty much out and all too as well. Like I mentioned, Mahomes with an ACL injury, so we'll see how long he's out for. Apparently he got his surgery done already, so that is optimistic news for him to start week 1 of next season at least, and also maybe the dynasty is not so much over going forward at least and all too as well. But for this season at least and all, they've been eliminated for the playoffs and all, and they won't be in. There'll be no chance of them winning a Super Bowl this season or going to a Super Bowl this season and all too as well. So there's the Pats game, and I'm going to skip that real quick to finish off the other 1 o'clock games and all. We got the Jaguars trouncing the Jets 48-20. I think Trevor Lawrence had himself 6 total touchdowns in that game. I'm thinking 4 passing and 2 rushing, but I'm not too sure on that. But had himself a hell of a game against the Jets in another practice type of game, at least and all. The Commanders, surprisingly, I think, beat the Giants. Yeah, surprise! Wow, 29-21. I didn't even see the score like that and all too. So just how the Commanders have looked after that Sunday night game against the Broncos, you would think it was pretty much over for them and all too as well. Just obviously eliminated for the playoffs and all too as well. But can he bring any fight to the last few games of the season. Also a great fight against the Giants clearly, and also won that game and all. And then I think the last of the second of the last of the 1 o'clock games was the Bears against the Browns. Another practice game for the Bears at least, and all too was on trouncing them 31-3 and all. But let me not hold this up anymore. We got the Patriots losing to the Bills. I'll even put this more of a focus on the screen at least, and all too as well. As I mentioned, the Pats were up 21-0. 2 quick rushing touchdowns by Drake May and all too as well. I'm trying to remember the third touchdown. Probably was Travion Henderson with a long run and all, because he had 2 of them and all. So yeah, probably that was one of them that made it 21-0 and all too as well. But yeah, as I mentioned, at a 21-0 lead going into the half with a 24-7 lead and all. But that's when I started getting nervous, because that's when the Bills offense started moving, honestly. When we got into the second half, they couldn't stop moving the football and all too as well, with I think their first 5 drives were a touchdown. Yeah, because they had 35 points at least. And also, yeah, they scored a touchdown every scoring drive, I should say, at least not for the Bills. They scored a touchdown and all too as well. But the Bills' defense actually showed up in the second half. The Patriots' defense didn't show up at all in the second half and all too as well. There is a limit of an excuse injury-wise, because Robert Spillane apparently got hurt and coming in to this week now for their next game in Week 16 and all. It's going to be, apparently has a boot on his left foot and all too as well, so not looking pretty good with that too as well. But I say that's a big deal because I think he is their leading tackler in their linebacker realm for sure, at least not. But I'm pretty sure he's the leading tackler of the team and all too as well. But you can see the second level of their defense was just getting gashed and all too as well. Maybe a bit of a struggle for James Cook out of the first level, but in the second level, different story in the second half at least and all too as well. Josh Allen was able to get a big running play for, I believe, a touchdown in the second half too as well, if not in the first half and all too as well. But the Patriots just couldn't stop the run. The Bills can't stop the run. They can't stop a nosebleed and all too as well. The Pats were able to score a touchdown in the second half by Travion Henderson with a 65-yard run and all. So it's not like the Bills were stopping the run, but you weren't helping your circumstance by not stopping the run at all and not having any stops from a defensive side in the second half and all too as well. Now, there were 2 PI calls and all too as well. I'm not going to sit here and barger ref calls and all too as well, even though I'm a little annoyed by them and all too as well. The only thing I'm annoyed with one of those calls and all, that Marcus Jones did come down with the ball. I get the whole penalty and all. I just don't understand why the ref is calling it a catch when I don't even remember who the receiver was, but he had no hands on the ball, pause, and all too as well. Marcus Jones is coming out with the ball and I'll call the penalty fair. It's still Bill's ball and all. It's not an interception, but I just don't understand the catch perspective of the referee there, at least and all too as well. So that's fairly my only issue. I think Vrabel challenged it too as well, and they still called it a catch and all. I don't get it. I get the penalty, I just don't get the catch at least and all too as well. Because for the penalty's sake, at least and all, Marcus Jones didn't have his head turned. I think he turned his head late enough to nullify the call, but his head wasn't turned for the majority of that play, at least when the ball's in the air and all too as well. So it's a fair penalty. I just don't get the catch and all too as well. So now with the Bills winning this game and all, now they're sitting at 10-4, where the Pats are 11-3, and also they don't not guarantee, they still have a chance to win the AFC East and all too as well, but it's a little more troublesome, unfortunately, going forward, at least, where losing a game can really mess up your chances and all too as well. There are advantages for the Pats, at least with their division record, against the Bills, at least, because the Bills did lose against the Dolphins and all too as well earlier this season. While the Pats, only have 1 loss in the division this game against the Bills, at least. They got the Jets and the Dolphins in the last 2 weeks of the season, all too as well. So disappointing. Drake May didn't look like Superman, unfortunately, in this game and all too as well. Was unable to throw the ball and all too as well. There is I heard an analysis with the Bills playing two safeties over, at least, and also kind of eliminating the deep ball, type of aspect for the Pats offense, at least in all too. So maybe it did contribute in all too as well. I saw the situation where Drake May had Matt Collins deep, at least, or at least beat, as he had the corner beat, at least, but there's a miscommunication of where he wanted Matt Collins, because Matt Collins looks like he was going while Drake May was throwing towards the sideline, at least and all too as well. So I feel like there was a little incompetence there and all too as well. They took away Hunter Henry too as well, honestly, who's been Hunter Henry and Stephon Diggs, let me say that, at least. Keyshawn Boutte only had 1 big catch, one of the first drives of the second drive of the game to continue a drive where Drake May ended it scoring a touchdown rushing wise, at least. And also, the first 2 drives he looked awesome, especially running the ball, at least and all too. Is one more. Let's just say he just looked awesome running the ball and all too as well. I just can't. Outside of the Keyshawn Booty big throw for a first down, at least not to continue one of those drives. Drake May was for most of the game and all. Then he had an interception and all too as well, which I would argue was a PI just based on what the refs are calling. But I said I'm not gonna make a too big deal of that too as well. So the interception didn't hurt you. It was a 3rd and 28 play or 3rd and 28, 3rd and 28, 3rd and 25 and all too as well. And what's it called? They threw a deep inside the 10-yard line and all where it got intercepted. And also, football nuances, at least it seems like a punt, at least not too as well, even though it hurts his stats to a degree and all too as well. But we'll get into the Week 16 game. I kind of mentioned the team already, but I'm kind of building it up and all too as well. I'm trying to make it as part of the episode and all too as well. But yeah, that's what happened for the Pats at home, unfortunately, against the Bills and all too as well. There's one other caveat, I guess, to it, that where the Pats are sitting right now in the in the playoff standings and all, because they're still number 2, even with this loss and all. We'll mention the team on the 1 seed that ended up getting a win this week when we get to the 4 o'clock games of Week 15 and all too as well. But there's a good chance of them facing the Bills again, and that'd be a three-time series, you can say, that they faced the Bills at least. And I would find it hard to believe if the Pats were able to hold on to that 24-7 lead going into the half, that they could beat Josh Allen again. This, most likely in New England, they won this game and all, but doing it again and going 3-0 against the Bills and all. You saw in this game why it's kind of hard, even with a 21-0 lead. I forgot to put myself on Do Not Disturb and all too as well. But you can see with a 21-0 lead that nothing's safe with Josh Allen on the other side, at least and all too as well. So it is an ire of optimism, I guess, as a Pats fan, just to think that you're really going to beat Josh Allen, probably the best quarterback in the playoffs and all too as well, with Pat Mahomes injured and the Chiefs out and all Lamar Jackson, the Ravens, middling towards the playoffs, at least, and all too as well. Are you really going to sit there and beat Josh Allen 3 times in the season, at least, and all? He didn't beat you once, and all too as well. So he got his once, at least, and all. And these games have been close and all. Like I mentioned, Spillane was out. Milton Williams has been out. Looks like he's going to be out one more week before he's able to come back, and all too as well. So maybe those guys are back in time in the playoffs and all, where you may be seeing Josh Allen again. And Milton Williams had a big game. And a big game in that first matchup against the Buffalo Bills, at least. And I believe he had 2 sacks and all. If it wasn't, it was a sack and a whole bunch of pressures in that game and all, too. Was when you didn't have that against Josh Allen and all. I think that would have been a huge aspect to have, at least in the second half, where you're just looking for a stop. Maybe a guy like Milton Williams could have made a play here or there to at least, you're not going to stop, like I said, you're down 21-0. It's Josh Allen. The man is the real Superman. When I'm showing that gift for Drake May, that is, like I said before, that is the real Superman. And all too as well. Play here or there, just a game-breaking play. At least not can stop one of those drives of being a touchdown, forcing a punt. Next thing you know, you're up at least on 31-28. At least and all. Maybe with a chance to either ice the game, or a chance to stop Josh Allen one more time to make sure maybe he only hits a field goal and you go into overtime at least and all. But it changes the aspects of the play. It changes the aspects of the game, in my opinion, if you're able to have a guy like Milton Williams, especially when he showed out in the first game against the Bills, at least and all too as well. But enough of my soliloquy spiel about the Pats losing to the Bills, at least. So let's get into the 4 o'clock games real quick before I preview Week 16 of the NFL season and all too as well. But we got the Panthers losing to the Saints 20-17 and all too as well. Had a chance for them to stronghold the NFC South and all too as well. Now they'll be sitting in a win-take-all type of situation against the Bucks in Week 16. I'll get more into it. I keep ruining it and all too as well. An interesting game against the Rams and the Lions, where the Rams won 48-34. The Lions had an early lead in that game too as well, honestly, but then able to continue their offense in the second half and all too as well. They did make it interesting, as you can see, to the score, but the Rams were able to score a touchdown. I believe they were scored a touchdown late to win that game and all too as well. And the mid-off and all too as well. Yeah, the 44-year-old Phillip Rivers was in the mid-off and all too as well, because he had a chance to win this game and all too as well, because Sam Darnold is reverting back into himself and all too as well with the pressure of these games and all too as well. But the Seahawks were able to sneak out a win against the Colts 18-16 and all. I believe every score for the Seahawks was a field goal and all too as well. I think the Colts got a touchdown. Let me Double check, I think. Yeah, Phillip Rivers ironically got the touchdown too as well. So yeah, that's hilarious to me that Sam Darnold couldn't get a touchdown against at least with the opposing quarterback being Phillip Rivers on the other side, at least and all too as well. But Seahawks were able to squeak through that. The Colts are continuing their dive in the AFC playoff picture and all too as well. They're already out of the playoffs and all too as well. And then with another loss here, are continuing and all too as well. And they got themselves an interesting game going into Week 16 too as well, honestly. The Broncos, unfortunately, as a Pats fan, trying to get that one seed and all, beat the Packers 34-26 and all. The score indicates it was a close game at least and all too as well. The Packers were actually up 23-14 at a certain time in the third quarter at least and all too as well. But Bo Nix again was able to return, lead the Broncos into victory and all. Unfortunate situation for the Packers and all. Obviously the Parsons injury is the major one where he's out. Looks like he's gonna be out for the season with an ACL injury. I don't think it's confirmed yet, but it's looking like something serious with his knee at least and all. It was a non-contact injury where he came up lame during a play at least and all. Came out and it was reported it was his knee at least and all too as well, so it's not looking good there. And I heard Christian Watson, I think on the play where Pat Surtain intercepted Jordan Love deep after they forced a punt, ironically and all too as well, or they got themselves in. I think it was a punt. I think Bo Nix was actually perfect with those 4 touchdowns, passing touchdowns, crazy enough. But yeah. Christian Watson, another player for the Packers, got hurt in that game too as well. I'm not sure how serious it is and all too as well. I'm pretty sure we'll find out, in the coming, towards the end of this week at least, if he even plays in this game. Just doesn't sound like he's playing in this game coming up for the Packers at least and all. Will it be an interesting Week 16 game too as well, honestly. So big win for the Broncos and all, even though they haven't cleared themselves of the number 1 seed or the AFC West at least and all, but one step closer, obviously, with 3 weeks left and them clinching a playoff seed at least and all. That's how much they did with that win and all too as well. So one step forward for them, at least getting the 1 seed and clinching a bye in the first round at least and all too as well. So next we have the Niners beating the Titans in the 37-24 game and all too as well. I would say practice. Shockingly, in the Sunday night game, though, we got the Vikings beating the Cowboys. I don't think the Cowboys are eliminated yet. It's pretty much over and all, too, as well. The way J.J. McCarthy was looking, you would think the Cowboys had a chance to win a game here, too, as well, and make things interesting, at least, and all, with these coming weeks and all, but flopped. It flopped pretty much the whole game, at least, and all, too, as well. I don't buy the score being as close as it was, honestly, when I was peeping it. The Vikings were really kind of dominating, in my opinion, and all, too, as well. So, which is kind of disappointing to hear, at least, and all. But, that happened. And then the Steelers ended up being the Dolphins in the Monday Night Football game and all, too, as well. Kind of, close, from what I was peeping from the score. In the first half at least, but then I saw 21-7 or something like that out of nowhere for the Packers at least and all too as well, and ended up beating the Dolphins and all 28-15, and Tua ended up getting benched, has ended up getting benched going into the Week 16 games and all too as well. So looks like it should be. I would think it's a Russell Wilson situation where they try to move on from it, take the cap hit, and since they're not good, maybe find a quarterback in the draft at least and all, try to move on from that and all. And the Broncos have given you a great blueprint of pulling that off at least and all with like I said, getting rid of Russell Wilson. Well, Russell Wilson played for the Broncos. They gave him a crazy contract and all too as well. His first year was a dud, and they ended up in Sean Payton ended up wanting to move on from him too as well, honestly. So what's it called there? Yeah. So yeah, they ended up bringing in Bo Nix and all too as well. A rookie guy. I think they drafted him 12 in the 24 draft. A whole bunch of quarterbacks in the top 14 of that draft at least and all too as well. So 4, 5, 6, 7. I think 7 of them. Bo Nix was the last of them and all too as well. But brought him in cheap contract with the rookie contract at least and all, even though having the cap hit of Russell Wilson and all. But as as I just mentioned, a few games away of clinching the 1 seed. Going into the playoffs and all, and that's 2 years after doing that with Russell Wilson at least and all. So the Dolphins looks like by benching Tua, they're continuing that head start of maybe moving on at least and all. They'll be starting Quinn Ewers next week or this upcoming week at least. Also, I'm pretty sure that's not going to be their future quarterback and all, but we'll see. And all too as well. So that's what we got for the review of the NFL Week 15 games. And here's a preview of the Week 16 games and all too as well. Where tonight we got the Rams facing the Seahawks. I would say I wouldn't say. I'm pretty sure majority of people are saying, but winner take all type of situation and all too as well. It looks like the winner of the NFC West may get I think is going to get the 1 seed And I'm trying to think of the second best record. Yeah, the Bears have the second best record in the NFC and all. And it's not so far off to think with the Packers, kind of stumbling right now with injuries too as well. Unfortunately, they don't even have Tucker Kraft anymore. He's been out for a majority of the season at this point and all too as well. So it's not outside chance that the Bears can get the 1 seed and all too as well if they're able to take care of business over the next 3 weeks and all too as well. But it looks like in this scenario, at least in all, as of right now, winner of this game has a stronghold of the NFC West and maybe have a stronghold of the number 1 seed and all too as well. If I had to pick, going with the Rams at least, because Sam Darnold has not looked good in the last 3 to 4 weeks, in my opinion, especially in the first half of these games and all too as well. They were able to figure out something against the Falcons after their slow start and all, but I haven't seen great games outside of from Sam Darnold over the last month and all too as well. So even with the Rams having Devontae Adams out and Puka Nacua getting in the news for some crazy ass stuff, at least one on stream and one by a sibling or older brother. I'm not sure if he's an older or younger brother, but his brother unfortunately getting into some questionable behavior over the past day or two, I guess, at least in all two as well. But I would pick the Rams in this game and all two as well, even though it's on the road against Seattle and all two as well. So next game we got Eagles Commanders. I would have been more confident saying the Eagles, unfortunately, but the Commanders showed me something against the Giants at least and all. Didn't expect them to even score over 20 points, and they ended up they were a point away from scoring 30 at least and all two as well. So even though it's a division matchup too, you would think it could be a close game at least. But I will begrudgingly I'll say the Eagles in this game at least. But it wouldn't surprise me if the Commanders make a game of it just for division things and all too as well. Even the Giants and the Cowboys were able to get a W against the Eagles this season. Even though it looked maybe surprising because the way inconsistently the Commanders are playing, not too out of bounds for them to win this game at least and all too as well. Let me check on something real quick. I think I'm kind of multitasking right now. What do we got here? Okay, we'll check on that. Okay, I can check on that after. All right, next. We got the Packers, Bears, my bad. little tangent there. But Packers, Bears, Bears at home. Like I said, with the Packers, they're dealing with these injuries with Parsons and Christian Watson as of late, at least and all with the last game and all. Very, very curious how they're going to look in this game. And all the Bears, can't lie, look pretty damn good and all too as well. I hated on them with their schedule because the Pats would get hate on their schedule, but to the to the point of where I give the Pats of they're still beating these teams and still winning these games going forward. The Bears have done the same thing at least on at this point. I gotta give them a little bit of credit of where they're sitting in the NFC and on number 2 at least on the NFC, and they're able to win this game against the Packers who are coming in hurt. They're gonna be home and all too as well. I gotta give the Bears the advantage in this game and all too as well. I'm confident they can win this game in a close matchup at least and all too as well. We got a division game there, so definitely gonna be close, but I gotta give the Bears edge in this game at least and all too as well. And I'm impressed when you're able to beat the Browns the way they did at least and all too as well. If you're able to beat a bad team convincingly, I feel like that's a plus, even though your schedule is not as strong. And I am a Pats fan, so I'm a bit biased saying that, but I still think it's big. It's still a big factor and all too as well. The Bears are sitting there at 10-4, and I never would have expected that and all too as well. These were one of the teams I thought were going to be bad this year. Now look at them. The Colts almost scared me because I can understand if the Bears were good this year, not the Colts. And even though Daniel Jones got an ACL injury, and I don't like do extra shit because someone got hurt at least. It was gonna be hard to. I was going to be very, very surprised if the Colts found their way as a number 1 or 2 seed at least on 2 as well. But the Bears at least, I can give some credit because you can see the foundation there at least. Caleb Williams, number 1 draft pick. They got ball hawkers on the defensive side at least and all too as well. So they can run the football too as well. Honestly, they're showing up to be a physical team too as well, honestly. So, very much impressed, at least now with the Bears, at least now. If they can win this game against the Packers, they can basically cinch the NFC North and all, just based on where the Lions are sitting outside the playoffs right now, even though I don't think they're fully out of it. I don't think the Bears are going to lose this division either, honestly. So that's why I kind of give them the edge there, at least now. Next, Chargers, Cowboys. Give the edge to the Chargers. At least they're playing for something big. The division's still open, even with the Broncos getting the number 1 seed. And on the Cowboys, I don't know. The Cowboys just want to show up, don't want to show up. I don't know. I don't know what it is, at least and all. Next, Vikings Giants. Not much implications here, at least and all. Both teams are eliminated, so I don't have too much to say there. Dolphins Bengals, same thing. Interesting to see what Quinn Ewers offers, at least and all, but not much implication there, so I'll move it along. We got Bucks Panthers. Interesting implications here for the NFC South, at least and all. I will give the Bucks the edge. The Panthers have just come to be inconsistent and all too, as well, losing to the Saints. Even though the Bucks lost to the Falcons, they were up 14. They showed some levels of dominance, at least. So the Panthers, from what I saw, never got like a command of the football game, unfortunately, too, as well. So that's why I would give the Bucks the advantage there. Jets Saints, no implications. We don't care. Bills Browns. I think this is a close game. Biased because I'm a Pats fan, so obviously I want the Bills to lose. But just on base, because the way we got ran on, I don't think the Browns are going to get run on like that. But look what the Bears did, at least and all too, as well. So that reason alone, you got to give the Bills the favor. But it wouldn't surprise me if this turns into a close game, at least and all too, as well. So I'm not saying the Browns win it. It's just crazy to think, at least and all. But Chiefs Titans, wow, a Chiefs game with no playoff implications. So we'll move on from there. You have Gardner Minshew signing and all too as well again, and this one too as well. Wow, 2 back-to-back episodes with a Gardner Minshew shout out. It's crazy, at least and all too as well. Jaguars Broncos are next. Big playoff implications there, at least and all. Jaguars need to keep the AFC South going. Jaguars are not too out of the number 1 seed, I believe, too as well. I don't think the Broncos clinched the 1 seed. They just clinched getting into the playoffs, at least. And all the Broncos are trying to hold off the Chargers, where I have them winning against the Cowboys and all too as well. So obviously a big game for them here to hold them off of the AFC West and to have the number 1 seed too as well. Honestly, the Broncos have been undefeated at home, so that's why you have to give the advantage in this game, at least and all. But I like the the way I'm impressed with the Bears and all. I had the same type of expectations with the Jaguars. I thought they would suck this year and all, and their first half run I thought was similar to the Colts, at least and all. But luckily their quarterback stayed healthy and their defense is continuing to play well, at least and all too as well, in a takeaway type of way, at least and all too as well. Trevor Lawrence just probably had his best game of his career excuse me this past week, at least and all too as well. That probably can continue for him too as well, honestly. So that's why I'll give the Broncos the I'll give the Broncos the edge, but give the Jaguars a good chance of winning this football game and all too as well. Next we got Falcons Cardinals, no implications. We don't care and all too as well. We got Raiders Texans next, at least and all. Should be another practice game for the Texans, at least and all. Big implications for them to at least keep up with the Jaguars to win the AFC South, at least and all too as well. I think a division they've won back-to-back seasons and all too as well. So and that division always ends up being close at the end and all too as well. So with the giving the Broncos a chance to win in that game, and a huge game for the Texans to show out in a practice type of game again, because the Raiders just got shot out by the Eagles 31-0, and on the Texans defense is no slouch and all too as well. So next is the Lions Steelers. Pretty interesting implications here, at least and all. I'm actually going to favor the Lions here, even though they've been inconsistent and all, and it fits for them to win this game and all. Win-loss, just coming off a loss against the Rams, at least and all. So I think they win this game here. The Steelers have shown to be inconsistent and all too as well. That first half against the Dolphins gives me no confidence that has changed and all. So I'll give the Lions a win here, at least and all, and pretty big for them too as well. If they don't win this game, they're basically out of the playoffs, in my opinion, going forward, at least and all too as well. Maybe if the Packers lose, maybe it's a different story. I'm not sure how that works, but I think they're sitting there with 5 losses, maybe 6. Yeah, with 6 losses, with another loss in the NFC, I think they're out. I think they're out of it. In the AFC, 7 losses for a wild card spot may not help you get in the playoffs. I don't know. NFC has been better. I don't think 7 losses in the NFC is going to get you in the playoffs, and also huge game, I think, for the Lions. I think they come out on top and all too as well. I'll get to the creme de la creme for me for Sunday Night Football and all the second Sunday Night Football game for the Pats and all too as well. I came out with a dub there and all. But 49ers Colts real quick. Colts, like I've said, I've been diving down. I just don't see how it doesn't continue with the 49ers coming in, at least and all. Could be a game where the Niners give up points, at least and all. It just seems like the NFC West teams against the bad teams, at least and all, seem to give up points and all. Maybe outside the Seahawks, because they probably have the better defense. Outside of the 3 NFC West teams that are in the playoffs right now, with the Niners, Seahawks, and Rams, at least and all too as well. well. But with their, Colts have playoff implications, but they've had playoff implications for like 4 weeks, and they've lost every game at least. And also, I think that trend, unfortunately for their fans and them, just continue at least and all. Phillip Rivers, you got Phillip Rivers back there, and it doesn't look like Anthony Richardson is coming back anytime soon to help them out at least and all too as well at the quarterback position and all too as well. So give me the Niners. I'll favor the Niners, I should say, in this game and all too as well. But the creme de la creme, at least for me, we got the Pats and the Ravens. The Pats visiting Baltimore for a Sunday Night Football game and all too as well. Just be my interesting thing with the Pats losing against the Bills. How do they respond in this football game and all too as well? I don't think the Ravens defense is good. I just don't know what. It looks like the Bengals gave up because they looked interested in the football game against the Bills and all. And based on the stuff that I saw against the Ravens, I don't think they looked interested in that game. Or things I heard, I should say too, they weren't interested in that game and all too as well. So I don't know if that was the true Ravens team that you saw beating the Bengals 24-0 last week. So I'll be curious if the Pats can look somewhat better, or not somewhat better, make the Ravens look like they really look, I should say, in this game at least and all too as well. They were up 21-0 against the Bills. They just weren't able to continue it. It's not like Nolan Williams and Spillane are coming back for this game and all. So I'm very curious how the defense is going to look going into this game and all. The Ravens offense has not looked consistent for the past few weeks, even with Lamar Jackson being back at least. And also maybe they can take advantage of that compared to, presumably pretty much healthy Josh Allen and all too as well, with the Spillane and with Nolan Williams being at least and all. Maybe their defense can take advantage of what the Ravens have not been offering and all too as well. And even when they beat the Bengals 24-0, I believe one of their touchdowns was a pick six at least and all too as well. So you can kind of look at it as 17-0 and all too as well. So I don't know if that offense is back back the way it was even last season, or if not early in the season, well, Lamar Jackson was at least somewhat healthy, at least and all too as well. So obviously I'm going to favor the Patriots there, at least and all too as well. Wouldn't surprise me if this is a blowout and all too as well, just based on that type of analysis and all too as well. I just don't see, based on how the Ravens look, the Ravens team has scored 20 points against the Bengals a couple weeks back and all too as well, and they struggled. If it weren't for the Pittsburgh Steelers shooting themselves in the foot to at least make it a game and all too as well, that offense struggled against the Pittsburgh Steelers too a couple weeks back before their win against the Bengals and all too as well. So give me definitely giving the Patriots. I favor the Patriots in this game and all too as well. So that's what I got for the NFL so far. We just what's it called? I just reviewed the Week 15. I previewed Week 16 and all too as well. So I'm gonna do something here on the side real quick before get into the NBA and all too as well. Now since I'm switching segments and all, let me fix the screen and all too as well. But since we're switching segments and all, I'd like to reiterate, please press on that subscribe button and that like button to help support the podcast. If you guys are on the YouTube side, and if you guys are on the podcast platform side, please add us to your library for any past, present, and future episodes and all, and leave us a rating to help support the podcast and all too as well. But I want to get into the NBA standings real quick. Like I mentioned earlier, the Knicks won the NBA Cup and all too as well, and a good game at least and all too as well. We didn't get the full boat of Victor Wembanyama, unfortunately, and all too as well. Unfortunately, it sounds like that his grandmother passed, if not like moments, if not that day or moments before that game started and all too as well. So kind of see it in the first half at least on this game. You can see he was a bit rushed at least. Had a great opportunity for like a dope alley-oop and all too as well, but missed it and all too as well. Probably just a bit more geared up than usual, at least not for that game, at least not too as well. In the third quarter, he was dominant. I think he hit like 4 straight threes in that quarter and all too as well. But for the rest of it, wasn't able to show up, at least not too as well. But the Knicks looked awesome. Got to give them credit and all. Jordan Clarkson, Josh Hart were making big shots. Jordan Clarkson more in the third quarter. Josh Hart hitting a big shot or two in the fourth quarter, at least and all. Mitchell Robinson was great for them offensive rebounding wise. I was curious why Mitch Robinson. Mitch Robinson. Wow. Yeah, Mitch Robinson and Mitchell Robinson. Yeah, for the center and the coach of the San Antonio Spurs. That's crazy. Right there too as well. I didn't even expect to say all that. But I'm just surprised the coach of the San Antonio Spurs didn't do a hack of Mitch and have him at the free throw line, maybe get him out the game at least, because he is a prowess offensive rebounding wise for the Knicks at least. But a big part to their fourth quarter and why they were able to stack some points onto the onto the Spurs in that NBA Cup final and all too as well. I think their second chance points were like way over like 36 points or something like that. I think like 20 of them, 24 of them, some shit like that was in that fourth quarter and all too as well. So, but no, a good game. At least all the Spurs and the Thunder had himself a dope game in one of the semifinals games before this final and all too as well. So, in a sense of I hate the whole theater of the NBA Cup. I'm not gonna say I'm a big fan of it, but for these games, the Spurs and Thunder game, unfortunately, Jalen Suggs got hurt against the Knicks at least, and also kind of took away from that game when it looked like a close game throughout at least, and all. I didn't even know we got hurt in this, going into that second half and all, and he had 25 points and all too as well. So, and they lost by like 9 to 10 or something like that, or at least the game was within 9 to 10, and they ended up losing by more and all too as well. So I'm curious if he was there, would have made a difference. I still thought the Knicks would have won, but just to make it more of an interesting game at least and all. But the Spurs and Thunder game was definitely thrilling and fun at least and all too as well. And most of this game against the Knicks and the Spurs was definitely a good game and all too as well. A whole bunch of lead changes from like the second and third quarter and all too as well and all. But I want to get into the standings real quick and all too as well. Before I jump out of here and all too as well, real quick time with the with the micro and the creme and all, but we're just not in the real heat of the season and all too as well. We just passed December 15th and also I've been hearing more trade talk or trade rumors, I should say, with trade talk with rumors out on the internet and all that stuff too as well. So beginning the trade deadline season for the league at least and all, December 15th is a big deal because players that were signed in the off season are now eligible to be traded, between teams at least on tools. Right? There is another one in January 15th. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure of the reasons for that. I can get into that when we get to January 15th at least. Maybe more like restricted players that have signed that can't be traded. Yeah, I think it's more something like that because I believe even though like guys like Miles Turner may be eligible to get traded with the December 15th December 15th. I don't know what they call it. Some type of deadline thing. I don't know what to call it. But like guys like Jonathan Kuminga at least and all, I believe he's not eligible to get traded from the Warriors until January 15th because he's more of a restricted player and all too is on this whole divvy up of reasons why players are restricted and unrestricted. Not doing it right now and all too as well. So to the standings real quick in the East, still got the Pistons. Oh, excuse me. Talking too much, that's the problem. But we still got the Pistons number one at 21-5 and all. The Knicks have looked great as of late and all too as well. Now have I think held on to the number 2 seed moving forward and all, or at least number 2 and number 1 seed. I think it could go back and forth going forward, but I really think these are your 2 best teams in the East and all too as well. Maybe someone emerges, Boston and all too as well. But for right now, I think these are clearly your 2 best teams in the Eastern Conference and all too as well. An injury has to change things in my opinion and all too as well. So Raptors are still number 3, which I'm impressed with at least. And all the schedule has slowed down tremendously because of this NBA Cup thing and all. So that's why most teams like the Celtics and the Raptors, probably most other teams, haven't played over the last week or so and all. I think it's ridiculous and all too as well. But Raptors are still at number 3 at 16-11. Surprisingly, the Boston Celtics are number 4, even with their bad losses. Well, not a bad loss against the Pistons at least. No, the Pistons are just better, so they were able to overcome in that game at least. No, but a bad loss against the Bucks on the road at least, where they had themselves a 20-point lead going into the half, and they blew it in the second half because they weren't able to score nothing in that game at least and all too as well. But surprisingly, at least and all, still number 4 in the East at 15-11. Number 5, same record, and Orlando Magic at 15-11. The Sixers at number 6 and all. We have Joel Embiid back. I think he dropped 39 points in one of his last games and all too as well. I put them in that team that can come out of nowhere and be maybe the number 3 team at this point of the season. I think it's them because Tyrese Maxey has looked like an MVP caliber player and all. Obviously an all-star player and all. They got a dope rookie in VJ Edgecombe and all. Paul George has come back slowly for them and all too as well. Joel Embiid can restore some type of best center in the league type of game. I think you have to put the Sixers there at least. No, Embiid's the huge if. But when we look at the league right now, look at the East right now, outside of Orlando, that can make that run and become a clear number 3 best team in the East. I think Philly's kind of right there too as well, honestly. I would love to put the C's there, but Jason Tatum is nowhere near close of coming back, even though we're seeing the tape of him on the court at least and all too as well. He's not as close as where Joel Embiid is. He just dropped 39 points in an NBA game at least and all. So that's why I can give the Sixers a chance of jumping up and being a clear number 3 3 or number 4 team, which I think Orlando's one of them. They just got to get healthy. Franz Wagner had a high ankle sprain, so he's going to be out for a bit. I just mentioned Jalen Suggs with a hip injury and all too as well, so I'll be curious. Paolo just came back, but he's not the reason why they're going to win basketball games. As much as I'm a fan of his game, it's those guys like Suggs, Franz Wagner, Desmond Bane, and all too as well. Desmond Bane and Paulo will be there. Maybe that could be the difference compared to last year and all when the injuries happened. And they just lack the best player on the court at one of those times at least. At least Paulo and Bane are there. We'll see if Bane is worth what they gave up and all too as well. I mentioned the Sixers at 6. We got the Hawks at 15 and 12 at number 7 and all too as well. Kristaps Porzingis is unfortunately dealing with some type of injury thing. Trae Young is still out and all too as well. Another interesting team. I don't think they can make that push to be a clear number 3, number 4 team, but I'm a huge fan of Jalen Johnson, and also I'm curious if that can. I'm curious if they're going to circle things around him and maybe move off from Trae Young and maybe move off of Kristaps Porzingis and all too as well. But interesting team. I think they can hold the 7 and be a playing team, maybe a 6 seed at least and all. But don't see them making that crazy leap at least and all too as well. The Heat, same type of thing. Even though they're in the Giannis rumors, did something like that. Be very curious if they can make that move at least and all to be a clear number 3, number 4 team. But just not too sure about them and all. Cavs should be that team. Dealing with injuries. Just saw they had a bad loss against the Bulls last night and all too as well. But it's just injuries that they're dealing with and all too as well. Don't know. I don't know about them and all. I don't know about them anyway. At least not because of their playoff runs in the past couple of years and all too as well. But with them playing the way they're playing, we're past the first quarter of the season and all. It's not a great spot to be in and all if they're them at least and all. Even though they're above 500. And all too, so they're just not playing well. And all, it's all Donovan Mitchell or else, again, at least and all for them and all too as well. So if they can get healthy in the second half and all, they can make a run like the Pacers did last year, at least with their slow start, and will be able to climb into the top 4 or 5 and make a run to the playoffs at least and all. They don't have the same makeup that the Pacers team did because they made in Eastern Conference Finals and all, so I don't know. But the same type of run the Pacers did in the regular season, Cavs do stand up to do something like that, but we'll see. Bulls are the 10, 11-15. The Bucks, shockingly, are the team at 11, at 11-16. I wouldn't be surprised if they make a run. It's not because of them being the Celtics this past Thursday. It's their numbers that they're shooting and all too as well. They haven't had Giannis play for 2 weeks at least and all. It could contribute for them being more of a I got everything going off right now, but could contribute them being 5 games under 500, where they can maybe just be 500 and all too as well. So I expect them to make a little bit of a run to at least be a playing team going forward and all too as well. Hornets, Nets, Pacers, Wizards, bottom out your Eastern Conference and all too as well. Let me look at something real quick again. Okay, that's what I saw. All right, I just want to make sure. I'm technically at work and all too as well, so at the computer, honestly. So both things at once and all. But we'll make this quick. With the Western Conference at least and all too as well. We got the Thunder at 24-2, Nuggets 19-6 and all too as well. Lakers 18-7, Spurs 18-7, and the Rockets 16-7, and the Timberwolves 17-10 and all. I wanted to say this at least and all. These 6 teams right here seem to be your legit basketball teams and all too as well. Maybe you put the Thunder at least in the Western Conference. I would put the Thunder and the Nuggets in the class of their own and all. I'm impressed with the Nuggets are sitting without Aaron Gordon, who's a big cog in what they do offensively and more importantly defensively and all too as well. So when they get him back, you expect them to maybe take it up just a bit more and maybe try keeping up with the OKC Thunder at least and all. The Lakers are interesting. I feel like they're a move away and all too as well, but it's good for them to really be sitting here in a position where I think they're a very flawed team, and many would agree with that too as well. So interesting if they just to make a move, really shore up. I think they're the defensive problems, in my opinion, at least and all. I think that's the only thing they're really missing, just an extra wing to guard and to make threes and all too as well. And there are some guys that are going to be available, in my opinion, at the trade deadline that they can maybe pick up at least and all too as well. The Spurs, just youth, I think is their only issue at least and all too as well. They got the pieces there. Can Wemby stay healthy? Obviously is the main piece. But Castle is awesome to watch. I'm a huge fan of how they use him and Fox to speed up their offense, at least not the point guard position. Vassell is a dope shooter from the outside and all. Dylan Harper, another dope young guy that they use in a great way too as well. They get him baskets and all too as well. And from the Rutgers play. Didn't expect him to be a good defensive player, but I loved what I was seeing him guarding Jalen Brunson and all, forced a backcourt violation, if not forced an out of bounds on him too as well, and also. I think youth is the only problem with the Spurs. They got the pieces for the time being, at least, to make some noise in the West throughout the regular season and possibly in the playoffs and all too as well. The Rockets, obviously, I think it's just a point guard thing that they're trying I think they'll be looking for moving forward, at least and all too as well. I think they'll find it too as well. Will it be like a all-star level type of point guard? We'll see in that aspect at least, no. But just a point guard away of really being a complete team and we can possibly make a deep run moving forward. And on the T-Wolves, back-to-back Western Conference Finals participants in the top 6 right now. Got to take them seriously. I don't think they're going to make a huge run at least, no, because I think these 5 teams are better than them, and the records say that at least not for the time being, too as well. None of these first 5 teams I mentioned don't even have double-digit losses and all too as well. So that's why I think they obviously clear the best teams in the West at least and all too as well. So. But yeah, gotta put the T-Wolves there at least and all. The number 7 at 14 and 12, the Suns impressingly are sitting there. They have Devin Booker hurt right now, so if he can come back at some point and they can just hold a 500 record, I think they can stay and keep a play-in seed. And all too as well, which is surprising to say after them trading Kevin Durant and all too as well. Jalen Green really hasn't played for them this season. He'll be coming back and all too as well. He's shown to be a second half player in the regular season at least and all too as well. So I'm very optimistic for the Suns at least and all. I didn't think that I would look at them as a good team this year. First quarter of the season, they've been in games against the Thunder this year too as well when they've been healthy and all too as well. I gotta give a shout out to their coach. I'm not sure on his name yet, but if he's continuing this, I'll get his name right and all too as well. And then this is where I say the Eastern Conference is probably better than the Western Conference because we have more above 500 teams at the 8-9 spot at least now compared to the West, where we got the Warriors at 13 and 14. Old, that's really it, man. Like you can lose your player and all, but they don't seem, as of late, they looked better, but before they weren't looking so great without Curry in the lineup and all too as well. Jimmy Butler, in my opinion, is just doing the whole regular season thing and getting himself ready for the postseason also. Maybe they're a second half team and maybe you can take them seriously from that point. But as of right now, they look old. And to be fair to them, they're probably taking the old man approach to this season and all, maybe turning it up in the last quarter of the season, at least and all too as well. Grizzlies surprisingly at 13 and 14 and all too as well. Got the Jazz surprisingly at 10 in the play-in seed at 10 and 15 and all, and the Blazers at 10 and 16. The Mavericks, who I believe are going to make a run and all and catch a play-in spot at number 10 at least, but right now at 10 and 16. Kings at I don't know why I'm saying these records. Well, Kings at 6 and 20, and the Clippers at 6 and 20. That's why I wanted to keep saying the records at least. So the Pelicans, disappointingly, are at 5 and 22 and all too as well. So it's like the current, what am I calling that? Current standings or the current temperature of the NBA and all too as well. We got the Christmas games next Thursday and all too as well. I'm pretty sure I'll do an episode that day and all too as well. I'll be out in Atlanta for the holiday, so I won't be going back home and all too as well. So I'll definitely have some time to record a podcast and all too as well. But I think that's it and all too as well for my mid-afternoon or afternoon. There we go. Yeah, afternoon. It's not mid. I don't think it's mid-afternoon yet. It's I didn't say it's December 18th. On a Thursday, and I'm recording or ending my recording around 2 o'clock this afternoon and all too. Well, now it's this afternoon and all too as well. But yeah, that's the current state of the NBA right now too as well. Very just more curious thing is like of the trade deadline of the trade rumors going into the trade deadline and all too as well. So like I said, I think the number 2 teams in the Eastern Conference and the Knicks and the Pistons, I think it stays. Maybe they start flip-flopping when we continue in the season and all too as well. And those top 5 teams that I mentioned before, the Timberwolves and the Rockets, the Spurs, the Nuggets, the Lakers, and the Thunder, I think they all hold toe. Maybe the Lakers go down, the Rockets go up, but I think the Spurs do keep a top 4 seed as long as Wemby's healthy and all. And they've shown with Wemby being out, they can still win games now. I think they went 9-2 or something like that with Wemby being out and all too as well. So I think those are your clear top 5 teams in the West and all too as well that can make a deep run and win a championship at least and all. And I think it stays there with the West at least. Maybe the T-Wolves get better or make a move where they can jump into a clear championship contending type team in the West. And in the East, like I keep saying, it's those 2 teams. But I do think there's space for someone to come up and take a number 3 spot or a number 4 spot in the Eastern Conference and all too as well. Even though the Celtics are number 4, I'm not. Excuse me, it's too much talking. But even though the Celtics are sitting at number 4 as a fan, I'm not confident that they can hold a number 4 seed at least and all too as well. It really has to be if Jason Tatum comes back this year, and it's way too early. Even though, like I mentioned earlier, you're seeing the tape of him out, out and about, on the court, getting himself ready at least and all. It's not a clear thing that he'll be back this year compared to Joel Embiid, who dropped 39 points in his last 2 games of this season and all too as well. So, and as you can see with me trying to catch my breath, I'm rambling, so we're gonna let this one go. You can always support the podcast by pressing on that subscribe button and pressing on the like button and dropping us a comment about what you've heard on the topics on this podcast and all too as well. Podcast recording episode. I'm all over the place and all too as well. And if you guys are listening on the podcast platforms like Apple, Spotify, and Overcast, please add us to your library for any past, present, and future episodes, and leave us a rating to help support the podcast and all. But I'll speak to you guys soon. Peace. We're going.